This is Preeti Kathpal. I am an anchor actress from Mumbai, the city of dreams, but the pandemic has put the city of dreams also to sleep. However, we are here connecting to all of you through this virtual platform. And I thank you all for being here with us, especially our panelists here. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Priti. How are you?
All right. So we have some very interesting questions as the topic that we are discussing, weddings. Well, weddings is this industry which brings people together. It connects families, friends, and now we are all socially distanced. So my first question to begin this discussion to anybody who would like to take on is, how has the last 1 year been for you?
I think we'll divide the last 1 year into two parts. There was this one part where we were not allowed to do anything. We weren't allowed to leave our houses. We spent a lot of time regrouping, with colleagues from the company, with industry friends and colleagues in the industry. I think a lot of us spent a lot of time on online platforms to really understand the way forward. And we came up with a plan. Saying that yes, ye karenge, wo sab karenge. And then come October or September, when the lockdown eased and we were allowed out, everything that everyone spoke about, half of these things were forgotten. And we went back to, it's been a busy season. I can't doubt that we've had, at least for our company, we've had a busy season right from October up till very recently. So there have been a few weddings and some of the big ones as well. So it's been good, but now, of course, the scenario is changing again.
Yes, it is changing, and we hope things get better. Gunjan, you're dressed so beautifully. We are in the wedding mood. Even I thought I should do a little glitter and glam. What are your views?
So as Chetan said, that first 6 months were like at home. And we made peace with it. We were at home, we were spending time with family, we were learning new things. And I don't know if you know about my company's profile, but we used to do mostly destination weddings out of India. So now we started exploring amore in India and started doing. So to be honest, I did only one wedding till now. So it was a big one, and it was like in Delhi itself. I'm still in that mode where I am like not fully out there, but we are getting there. Let's see.
Well, you must be feeling like Amir Khan of the wedding industry, just one project a year.
Yeah, I would not compare myself with Amir Khan, but yeah, I mean, I'm like taking it easy still because the COVID situation hasn't improved yet. So I am taking it very slow. I'm still in that sabbatical mode and, just coming out of it. And then again, the lockdown happened. So
very true. Again. However, you're glowing and looking so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to our other panelists who would like to answer this. How has the last year been for you?
So I'll take this question. So as Chetan and Gunjan said, the first 6 months were quiet. All of us were sitting, doing Zoom meetings with our teammates, trying to build out a future plan, laying down strategies, doing a lot of research work. But as soon as the lockdown was lifted, things started opening up. There was a sudden pent-up demand in the market also, and I think that was also there slightly in the wedding industry as well, because so wedding is something which can postpone, but definitely it's not something which will not happen. The number of guests can go down to 50 or 40, but still, wedding is something that will happen. And the wedding industry, what I also noticed was, so if you look at the wedding industry, it's of two types. One is there is a catering, decoration industry, and second is people spend money on gifts, on jewelries, gehnas, etc. So the first part of the business was very severely affected because the count of guests went down drastically from 500,000 to 40, 50 maximum. And people were not spending that much in getting big halls, they were doing it in small gatherings. That was severely affected. The second part was not that severely affected. There was a pent-up demand in that, because usually these gifts or people dressing up, etc., is something which will even happen if there are 50 people who are attending a wedding. So, which is what we also saw in the jewelry industry, with some of my friends and with some, with us as well, that a lot of shopping for jewelry was happening. Post COVID, and people were purchasing it for small occasions. What also started happening was, women who used to save, I'm talking about millennial women, who used to save and spend a lot for weddings. Given there were not many weddings, they were actually spending in their day-to-day wear, accessories as well. For example, women were initially who were purchasing 4 or 5 jewelry in a year for their daily wear or small party wear occasions, were now purchasing 6 to 7 because they wanted to spend, and wedding as an occasion was something which was not there. So they were purchasing for small parties or wherever they were from. So that was also one shift that we have seen.
We finally get to hear from somebody's mouth that people are spending. I've only been hearing about everybody saving and budgets are going lower and lower. So women are spending on jewelry. I think I should get into the jewelry business.
You should get
Do
into.
we have Saxena with us?
Sorry.
Do we have Prerana?
Hi.
Yes. Hi. Welcome, Prerana.
Hi.
So-
Sorry, I'm sitting somewhere in a department, and sorry, there'll be a little disturbance, but I do wanted to attend the session, so here I am. Please.
So Prerana, we are talking in general. How has the last 1 year in regards to weddings been, and also how has your experience been the past 1 year?
So, like I said, that of course it was overwhelming to see that the wedding industry has gone through a little phase, and more than us, I think. Of course, we've been affected, but the allied industries have really been affected in the lockdown. We've heard stories about what has happened with maybe a photographer or the artist industry, and we are sitting and we are hoping that things will revive fast with the vaccinations coming in, things happening. Though I feel that somewhere we were heading towards smaller wedding, like the ticket size of the weddings going smaller day by day. That's the trend we were seeing. Maybe with Corona, what's happened is we've gone into a little fast forward motion, and India has seen that how in a smaller ticket size also weddings can happen. And I think the parents are in a little fix, while the millennials and the kids are quite happy because they always wanted close-knit weddings. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
It's breaking, but you are audible.
Okay, I'm so sorry for this. I wanted to be in a better network, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some good news for the industry. So yes.
Yes, hopefully we will get some good news for the industry. So initially, the first couple of months of the lockdown, Zoom weddings, virtual weddings were a big hit. They were in vogue. So anybody experienced these, and how did you enjoy it? Did the audience, the guests have a good time, and how did the clients react to it?
The weddings we did were not entirely Zoom. So because we focus on destination weddings in Rajasthan. So the first wedding we did in July was 50 people, and it was really interesting to see what my client had to say. And it was a very interesting phenomenon. Rather, it was only for 15 people, but my client just gave me one thing. He said that, Prerana, my daughter's wedding is not to come back again. So kahin kami na reh jaye. So that the wedding objective became that nothing should be missing in the wedding because the number of people are less. So that's one takeaway which I had, that for every wedding, their daughter's wedding is happening only once, and they didn't want anything lesser. So while the number of people were less, but per person spent or something went up in our case. Like, I'm talking from my perspective. And then came the time where we did, I think the photographers started offering the service that in their camera, there was a card which came in, and it could, and a Zoom link was sent to everyone, and people could see the weddings sitting at their house. So 100 people were allowed in Rajasthan. So 100 people came in for the wedding, and the rest guests could see the weddings across through on their Zoom.
I think that's still happening. People are still attending weddings through Zoom. I attended a Dubai wedding recently through Zoom. Anybody who actually experienced a virtual wedding where the bride and groom were not together? Because I've heard of these, not that I've experienced. Anybody did? Any of you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we put our brides and grooms together. We didn't have to.
Or a virtual wedding where any other kind of a virtual wedding where family is there and the guests are on Zoom.
So I recently attended one of the weddings. It was my friend's wedding, where, what they did was they actually had a big screen the wedding season. So at the wedding place, and there was a Zoom setup. And all the friends, all the close, all the family members were invited on that. So they could, and there were cameras also. There were 3-4 cameras who were fitted at a strategic places so that people can enjoy the entire event. So that is also, one of the industry. I'm not sure, but that is also one of the industry that has come up, where people also give an add-on service of Zoom wedding. You can also have a live wedding going on alongside. But the experience was really good. It was really fun. People were, chatting on the sideways as well, sharing stories, etc. Also, if people were speaking as well, there were speakers as well if anybody wants to speak, etc. So the experience was good. It was about 30-40 members who attended through Zoom.
So here the photographer, the videographer's budget's going up. They're giving extra services. Gunjan, Chetan, any experience on virtual weddings?
No, I haven't experienced, and to be honest, I have not done a lot of virtual sessions also, because I feel that when you meet people, when you
okay, Chetan, have you experienced? What are you making?
So I think there's a connection issue. Gunjan, you were saying something. You want to continue?
No, I'm done, Chetan. Please go on.
So I think for us, we had a few queries, but I think when you seek advice from a set of planners, we will always tell you to wait for a few months so we can make more money. And I think that's what happened. So we went back and told our people that don't do it. Wait for another few months, let things get better, and we will do some on-ground weddings. So we had stuff that was being spoken of, but we asked them to hold out till after October. The weather was better. We knew we would be allowed 100 people plus, and exactly what Prerana said earlier, we went back and did that. So we've seen that. Also, I think it's to do with culture. A lot of our Indian culture is that jab tak aap khaterdari nahi karoge, till you don't feed your guests and you don't host them, I think there's a certain sense of an inadequacy that sets in. So that's a big part. So I don't think people wanted to do that. We've done a lot of weddings, and all our weddings have gone onto platforms. So we've used platforms where people have created specially for social events. We've used some of those. We've used a lot of Zoom weddings where, the weddings happen for only 25-30 people, and then they've got up and come to a particular platform, and you had over 200 people, 500 people, all of these guys who from across the world, and it's been fun to see people who the bride or the groom went to college with in the US or Australia or UK were getting up in their time zones of 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. and popping champagne and raising a toast to the couple who just got married on India time. So yeah, I think it was. It's been fun. It was, the human species will always find a way to survive, and we realized that was the best anyone could have done at that point of time, and we did that. There was one instance when we were doing a wedding for people, and there was a core group of family members it was too risky for them to travel, and they couldn't come to travel to this particular destination. So while the wedding dinner was on, we had arranged for the same menu from the Taj group to be served to them at the same time. So when the Sajan God was happening for the couple and the family, their grandparents in different cities were being served the same food, by the Taj hospitality team and our team that went out and did that. So you always find a way around as human as possible. But I don't think Zoom weddings are the way forward, and at least I wouldn't want to continue the digital platform, for that. I think what you can do on a live event is a very different experience.
Absolutely. I think a lot more corporates are comfortable on the virtual platform, but weddings no. Very important question. What are the big challenges that wedding planners are facing? Gunjan, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So it is challenging because we were used to, in India especially, we were used to a certain big number of weddings, and we used to charge accordingly. So obviously that is one challenge which we are facing, that the numbers have decreased, and people are talking about what we used to charge as a fee is suddenly has become the budget of the client. That is one challenge. Second is, of course, we have to take all the safety precautions. It's an added work for us that for the COVID, and we have to take care. When I did the wedding in Oberoi, all the staff, all the lower class who were coming for the decoration, we had to get all of them COVID tested so they can enter the premises and work. And you can understand it was we were doing the setup from last 5 days, so you can understand how many people were there. It was almost 200 to 300 people who were working. So we had to get all of them COVID tested. So that was a added job or work for us. So yeah, it is challenging, and as you know, every city has a different. The situation keeps changing in every city. So if a client is looking for a destination wedding, they are generally very skeptical, because you never know if the number increases in Rajasthan. Suddenly Rajasthan put a ban for social events or something like the way it has happened in Mumbai recently. So yeah, it is very unpredictable, and the clients are also very jittery, and they are looking for different options. So it is a challenging time.
Okay, I want to come in, Priti. I think
Yes.
I think one of the things that we faced is on people following rules. And as planners, we've come up with a lot of protocols, which EMA as we worked on various things for EMA, and brought in COVID protocols that we were following for the wedding industry. We've introduced many best practices. We coached various people on our teams and hotels and infrastructure providers. We managed to do all of that. The biggest challenge we faced was guests, because everyone felt that if you've come there, you're not going to get it, and they would not wear their masks. They would sit down and argue with us, saying that if you're not, how do I drink if I'm going to have to wear a mask? How do I have my drink, or how do I eat my food? So there were various things like that. I think we faced that problem, and we continue to face it, and that's one of the reasons why, unfortunately, we are sitting where we are today, on the brink of yet another crisis. Because the mindset is very, very different. We tend to forget very easily that when there's good music going on, or when there's you've met with a few people. I understand that people haven't hugged each other for the last 8-9 months, and you were desperate to really get out of your homes and come to a hotel. We've all taken our breaks, we've all been out with our families, and that sense of relief of getting out of the home was huge. But there is a huge that. So crowd protocols and maintaining that, I think, was one of the most severe issues that we face. We've had appeal letters going out in our welcome kits, told people that, look, we've got health officials from the government. I know Rajasthan was very particular in the first, we did something in October, which was again very early. And I know we had health officials there in the venue observing how we were doing it. So, ultimately it's also a big risk. You don't want, there was unfortunately a case much later, a few months ago in Udaipur, where apparently people came with fake RT-PCR tests and they gave fake reports, and there was a huge outbreak, and there were about 50-60 people who got it. So you don't want that. As a planner, you wouldn't want to be branded as being the planner whose wedding has again propelled the virus. So this is a big problem, and it's becoming a very big problem today as well. That's, I think, one of the reasons why the government has also cut down on weddings and cut down on any kind of gatherings. That's basically the problem.
Yes, we all have faced various problems, guests not following the protocol, and many more. Prerana or Ishendra, what are your views? What problems did you face? Prerana, your voice is, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. So, in terms of, making the clients understand that the test is very important, wearing mask is important, because once they're in the event, they want to forget that there is corona outside. So that was there. But I think how we managed is we sent like a docket earlier, like a PDF to all. We asked our clients to send it to all their guests, so they're aware that they have to do this. But when they're dancing or when they're eating, drinking, there was a challenge to kind of they were not ready to wear the mask, because they said that it's close family, it's only our family, and we know from where they are coming, and it's a very close gathering. Why should we wear the mask? So these were the challenges. And also we made RT-PCR compulsory for all vendors, and for guests, frankly for the guests, we left it to the hotel, because the hotel, we followed whatever the hotel norms were, but at least for all vendor partners, we made sure that all tests are done. So convincing the client that this test has to be done, because the cost of the test was to be borne by the client. So why should he bear the cost? And it's in his interest was a challenge.
Absolutely, and the test is not very reasonable. I think it started off at around 2,200 rupees, and then it reduced.
Yes.
So we're talking about, Ishendra, do you have any experience, any difficulties that you faced?
So I think Chetan and Gunjan and Prerana would be the right person to answer this, because given we are into the jewelry industry.
Sure.
So even their forte.
Well, we did face challenges, and everybody has a similar say that weddings was majorly hit. Now, the second wave is around, and what does that mean for the wedding industry? What do you think is the scenario, and how is the future of the wedding industry? Chetan, would you like to start?
So I think it's, it is bleak. We've had, in the last 3 days, we've had few cancellations that were immediately there. So I think Q1, for those of us who operate from April onwards, that's definitely not a good way to start the year, especially after the last year that we've had. So we were all looking at the worst being over last summer. It hasn't been. I don't think, unfortunately, anyone anticipated a mood like this, given the whole, everyone being gung-ho about the vaccines coming in. So I think everyone was very happy that the worst was over. we hadn't anticipated that we're going to go through another summer of the same kind of tensions and stuff. So that is the problem that we are facing. The Q1 period definitely looks a lot more, looks critical right now. We're hoping the worst passes and there isn't a thing. But yeah, people have got up and realized that they want to move on. The silver lining is that these weddings are going to happen. They are going to happen with us as agencies. There will always be people coming back to us. So I think it's not that that weddings have been banned forever or things can't happen. It's just that if we behave ourselves, the big fat wedding has to change to the big fit wedding. And if we can change fat to fit, the other downside, honestly, is that like I think Prerana mentioned earlier, was that people don't want to. They've realized that this 50 people, 100 people, 150 people is a great number. You have your fun, you meet your people, you have the best people who really mean something to you, who are there with you. You can spend that extra money. I'm not talking about the spends. I mean, people are willing to go to huge depths of saying that Pele, if you didn't give them clothes today, you can even get up and give them a Sabyasachi voucher and say that go and buy yourself something for it, because he's got that money to spend and spoil his guest. But the fact is that we are seeing a change in trend for sure. The size that we were used to, which some of us have built our agencies on, which were 500, 800,000 people, is definitely changing. And that is going to stay forever. I don't think that's going to change. Yes, you will have the one-off Ambanis and one-off industrialists coming back and still doing 1,000 people. But majority, I think the shift is definitely changing to smaller, fitter numbers where you can control it and you can have that. So that gives you a new breath of life for a lot of small hotels, a lot of small places that have 50 rooms, 60 rooms that can cater to 100, 150 people weddings. But at the same time, the bigger hotels are going to suffer. The bigger agencies are going to suffer. We all having to try and reinvent ourselves and try and figure out how to cater to this new demand. So that is there. But with the second wave, let's hope it passes faster than it did last time. With the vaccine and first doses with most people and second doses now on its way, hopefully the worst is over and we break out of it at least by Q2 we should come out of it.
Yeah, I think like Chetan said that earlier if we were we were having people to do set design. I think the shift will be from set design to experience design, and frankly, personally, I always believed in it because it's very important for it to be an experience for the couple. It's about them. It's their wedding. So I always feel that if we are able to create that memory which lasts forever, which is more centric to them and their close family, so I think COVID has taught us that how can it be in smaller numbers? How can we still have that experience for that couple? So that's one thing personally I feel has changed. And of course, the second wave, like you mentioned, has come in. And the only thing we can wait and watch and say that, vaccines are on the way. And as soon as we get more and more people get vaccinated, things will go back to normal. So I think one more discussion which is going around is that we should all push everyone to go out and get vaccinated. So that drive has to be there because people are still waiting and watching. Okay, ye lagwa lega to main lagwa lungi. So we should get out of that mindset, and every one of us should say, let's get vaccinated so that the government has a chance to open the industries. It's not only our industry, frankly, a lot of industries are in this situation. And while I know we are of course we are concerned about our industry, everyone else is also quite in the same boat. And the only way to solve the situation is that all of us have a vaccination drive, and at least how many ever people we can influence, get them vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gunjan, please go ahead.
So I also feel that we all should get vaccinated so that, the fear of getting COVID would reduce. And as per the industry, I think the next season is gonna be very, very, because the weddings which has been postponed, or the weddings which has not happened, and people would also like to celebrate after all this is gone. So I think October onwards, we people are gonna be very busy.
Yes.
I want to come in here. I don't think, unfortunately, it's going to end with just being vaccinated. I think there has to be a huge buy-in on consciousness from people, because even after the vaccine, I know of some cases. There might be stray cases, but I know cases where people have got it after the first or the second dose as well. That's only because you're being careless, and this is going to change. I've said this in another forum before. Some of us, unfortunately or fortunately, because we're here today, we were doing events that night in Bombay on the 26/11 when the attacks happened, and we managed to get out. We managed to live to tell these tales. But the fact is that one act changed how you would ever go into a hotel ever again. Before that, you could drive into a hotel. They were very welcoming. The guy would open the door. From the gate man, everybody would say salam saab, salam mim saab, and you could go inside. That changed forever. With that attack, it changed. You are now treated like a suspect. You cannot walk into an airport. You cannot walk into that. I think masks are here to stay. It is going to be second skin to us. We don't have a choice. For the next many years to come, there are going to be things like these protocols that are going to stay. And if we are going to be idiotic about it and get up and say that, oh, it doesn't matter, it's not. This is a virus that commands you to respect. It is not something. It's been, whether there may be different story of whether it's man-made or if it's natural, but the fact is that this is a virus that demands you to respect what you do. So the only thing we do is to cover our noses, cover our mouths, keep social distancing. So you might have the vaccine. It might have to be done every year, every 2 years, whatever the reinforcements the medical science tells you. But the fact is that we have to understand that there are going to be protocols that will follow. So that is going to change at least the social industry for a long, long time to come. And these are things we just have to live and learn. And it is there. So I just want to add that one point, that there are many things that will change henceforth. I don't think we are going back to what we saw with weddings till before this virus hit, before the first lockdown.
We all are facing problems, and there's no end to how we can express what difficulties we are facing. I would want you to throw some light upon not just the owners of the company, not just the client or dulha or dulhan. What is the scenario of these employees that work in the wedding industry, and how can we help them? What can be done? Chetan, I think you must have faced all of this.
So so I'll tell you. See, the wedding industry is not just determined by people like us, who sit in metros or capital cities and work out of big brands. There's a huge employment that goes in. There are artisans who sit. I mean, a lot of it that we do is we bring in musicians from Rajasthan or artisans from Bengal. There are various arts and crafts that come in. Unfortunately, they are the biggest sufferers in this entire pandemic that is hit, because we still got up and said that, okay, some of us have our reserves, some of us have our banks, we can all survive. We have got each other, we've got social media platform. The kind of stories I've heard, the kind of phone calls I've got back from just that level of artists and artisans and people who work in our warehouses, who've gone back home, who've called back and said that I don't have money to feed my children. I don't have, can you give me enough money to just buy enough food to put them in? I'm not asking for a loan. I just want something. And these are people you hugely respect, because when you put them on stage and their talent comes out, they are the ones that, make the wow in our weddings. That's what everybody gets back and says, oh, you're a fan. We are nobody. We are just curators. We only understand, okay, these are 5 great guys. We'll put them on stage. We'll get Priti to come in and be the MC, and we will get everyone to put out a great event. But we don't understand that when these things happen, they are the ones that are ignored, they're forgotten, until I got those phone calls, until I got those messages, I hadn't thought about it. All I was frustrated about was not being able to leave my home, not be able to get out and get to office, or what is going to happen to my business. So that's the big issue that I think we really, there are a lot of small people who are dependent on us. Every wedding, I don't think there's a single agency in my knowing that does everything from pin to aeroplane on their own. We are all curators and we all depend on multiple service providers. So these are these people who really suffer. I think that's the big the big drain from the pandemic that's really happened.
It's not just us, it's the people who make this wedding possible. I mean, this topic is so difficult for us to face, especially for somebody like me who is a freelancer, and when weddings are not happening, I have no other thing to do. So I can understand how these small artists, or like a chudi maker or a mehndi wali who was working at weddings, what would she be going through? Gunjan, what do you think we can do for these people?
See, to be honest with you, with people I have worked closely, I have tried to help them however I could. More than that, I don't know what we can do. I think IMA is doing a great job. They are helping people. They are trying to create some kind of a platform for them to, sustain themselves. But other than that, even we are trying to survive. We also do not have that kind of a resources in this industry that we can actually create something for them. So I think we just have to stick with each other, and people whom we know, at least with whom we have worked, if they are getting into trouble, at least we can help them. So if we always look after the people which we know, at least some sort of some groups would be helped with that. So I have done that. I have helped my people with whom I've worked, and if they have called me and they've asked me for the help, and even I've called them and asked them, if you have any problem, you can call me. I will try to help you out. If we do that, then probably we'll be able to survive this.
So IMA as a body also, I think Prerana's fallen off the call, but I think IMA as a body has also put together committees and panels that have looked into it. So there was an artist panel that was put out. They reached out to people. So there has been. So we have contributed. I think the association has contributed to people and helped support them. There are great helplines that have started. There is an employee helpline. There's actually something called We Care that goes beyond just certain problems, but everybody to talk about it. We realized that it was playing on the psychological health of various people. Agencies that had unfortunately had to shut down, their employees were getting very, very stressed out. So I think the association really came together, and we've all taken on our respective roles of corporate social responsibilities and have tried to stand by everybody who helps us stand at an event. So we've tried to be there. It's a very, very deep hole, and we'll continue trying to be there for everyone. So yeah, I mean, the only way out of this is to stand by each other, but with social distancing.
Stand by each other with social distance.
That's a good one, Chetan.
Ishendra, we're talking about employees or people working at a smaller level. Yeah. So what would you like to add to this?
Yes. So even in our industry, as Chetan and Gunjan mentioned, there are small karigars, small artisans, who were working at a ground level to execute stuffs. They were the one who were severely affected, because these are the people who literally work on their daily wages. Whatever they earn is just enough or slightly more than enough to feed their family for a short duration. So they were really very much and what we as a What we're trying to do is, before COVID, a lot of our jewelry was also, coming from different countries like Korea, Italy, Turkey, multiple other parts of the world. But post COVID, we have also shifted our manufacturing base to India, where now we have tried our best to employ these karigars from Surat, Jaipur, Kolkata as much as we can do, so that they at least have some work and their daily works have not gone, because the offline industry has taken a drastic hit, because of which the demand has gone. But online somehow has been able to manage the demand. And we now, with our Prime Minister Modi's vision of Make in India, have shifted our entire manufacturing to India so that we can support these people in whatever way we could.
That's wonderful. We are giving employment opportunities to these people, and instead of importing, we are producing right here. Something good that has come out of this.
I think also everybody who's not had the opportunity to go out and do wedding in the Florences and the Portugals and the Maldives of the world have ended up coming to Ishendra and buying his jewelry. So I think he's been the single most celebrated business owner in the field. I think that's a good way to be, right? We wouldn't mind being in your shoes.
I mean, yeah. So we as a brand, try and bring all the best in class, finest designs to India. Anyone who wants to experience that, feel free. Please visit GIVA.
We need to talk offline, buddy.
Definitely, Chetan.
And I think our viewers will also connect to you, Ishendra. You're going to get a lot of clients from this session itself. A lot of our viewers. So we were talking about these ground level workers, and definitely we all are doing as much as we can. But our clients, the wedding family, are the ones who give us the money, and that is how we can pay our employees or these artists. So any of you has experienced a client booking a wedding probably for end of this year or next year and giving you a good amount of advance which you can pay to your employees? Has this scenario been there for any of you?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Well, so weddings get booked way in advance, and given the scenario, it's so dicey. At any moment, there's a lockdown, there's a curfew. So is the client comfortable giving you an advance for maybe a December wedding or a January 2022 wedding?
Yeah, definitely. We do take advance in. There is no problem at all. They are okay with it, because once they decide on the planner whether they are doing the wedding in December or January or February, or if they are doing the wedding in India or abroad, at least one thing is confirmed, that they're gonna we are their planner. So we work with them. We help them in shift the location, or help them to work on it. But client has no problem giving the advance.
I think that's a very good news, that at least we can get some money in for a future wedding and we can be paying our employees. Chetan, has it been easy for you to book future weddings, or the client is dicey कि अरे कभी भी lockdown हो जाएगा, एक साल रुक के फिर देखते हैं?
See, the wedding business is, for us, is a very personal driven, relationship driven business. Most of our clients are repeats or people who come through references, celebrities, that level of people. So it's a very deep intrinsic relationship that we need. We don't push for an advance if we know that something is dicey. So I've held back advances for people knowing very clearly. So I said, look, the dates are blocked for you, the hotels are blocked for you, everything's blocked for you, but you don't need to really pay right now because we don't know what's happening and we don't want you to waste your money. So it's better in your bank than it's in my bank. If it's in my bank, it goes out to all kinds of unnecessary things, and then you end up scrambling and trying to figure out where you're going to get the money to because you've blown it up in the. So for us, our business philosophies are very different. We don't work on that pretext. We work on a very deep intrinsic relationship with our clients, and that's good. That's a good part. But I have to tell you, to answer your question particularly, the availability of funds, the number of clients who called me during the pandemic to say that, are your teams okay? Are you guys all right? Would you like some money? Because they are all industrialists. They are all very, very big people, 100, 200, 300 times bigger than what we are. And they've all extended support at some point in time. Whether we needed it or not is a different thing. But they have come back to us and asked us, saying that, look, so it's a relationship. You become a part of their family. You're not just somebody or a contractor that they've hired and fired or whatever. So it's a very deep intrinsic relationship. So if they come to me and ask me which hotel to go to, which jeweler to go to, which caterer to go to, which MC to hire, I think they really trust us and our judgment on that. So I think that's been it. But our philosophies are a little different. We've actually held people back and said we'll pay. So we did something very recently where, again, there was a little stress about it. So we introduced the COVID clause in contracts. It took us a few weeks actually to get the hotel to agree. And we fought it with the highest authority in their legal chain to say that, no, we want it to, because we want to make sure that our clients are safe. Even today, I'm doing an event next month in Goa. And again, the contracting is not done by us, but we made sure that clause was mentioned in the contract by the agency that had done the contracting with them, or the travel agency that had done it. So the idea is that you have to secure your client and protect them at every point. And that's how relationships get built.
Well, yes, relationship building definitely requires you to not extract the money out of them just to keep it with yourself. But this is an idea that has been floating around. If we get advances from our future projects and pay the employees, because a lot of employees have been laid off, people are getting 50% of their salaries. So do you think this is the solution? Chetan, the question for you.
I think salary cuts are, it's all about being realistic today. Understand that none of us as agencies are operating in the fees and the fee structures and the kind of profit margins that we were working on earlier. We've seen a 50% plus cut in our own fee structure that we've charged clients in the past. Now that will permeate down to everybody, right? It's not that. Plus, if you did 50 big weddings in the past year, it's come down to 15. So there's even a revenue slice that's been taken away from you. So it's very unfair for even, and thankfully we've got a great team. The team that stuck by us understood that if we survive and the company survives, there will be a tomorrow. The earth is going to turn, the seasons are going to change. The virus will hopefully come under control. There will be a new tomorrow. The sun will set. The sun will rise again, and there will again be weddings. But we need to be there for that. What is the point? And I've known people who got up and said, "No, it doesn't matter. We will think." So there are people who left organizations, or there are organizations that are shut down. But the fact is, they're not there today, and it's very difficult to be out of the market for a year and a half, 2 years, and come back. You've lost your market standing. You've lost your market share. It's not really worth it. So I think everyone has to be very practical. The proprietors and the owners and the directors of the companies have to be practical and say that, okay, we can't afford to look at the kind of profit margins we've got. And employees and suppliers and everybody else looks. I've seen rates being cut with hotels. I've seen rates being cut with suppliers. I've seen MCs like you who come back and said, okay, we'll do it at one, half our fee of what we did last time. So it's about everybody being realistic and balancing the entire curve out.
Yes, it is about being realistic, and we have to deal with what is.
Gunjan gets paid in dollars, so it doesn't matter to her. But those of us who get paid in Indian rupees is the big problem. She gets paid in euros.
I'm not getting paid in dollars now.
Euros.
I had one last question before we close this and have closing remarks, is that we discussed problems that we faced, but now, and the main topic problem that we faced is that even though weddings are happening, the guests do not follow the protocol. And I attended another session where people discussed that airlines are flying and everybody is there, but they are following protocol. They're wearing their mask. They are doing what is needed. So how can we make this stricter in the wedding industry? This is my last question to you all.
See, the airlines are different, and events and especially weddings is a very different scenario. People are in a different mood altogether, in a different mood when they are coming to a wedding, and you cannot be strict with them. You can politely suggest, but you cannot put like in airlines when you go, they are like very particular. You have to wear it. But in social gathering, you cannot be so how to put it, strict with them, or tell them that you have to do it or you won't be able to attend the wedding. But I think the wedding I have done, people were very responsible. They all were wearing masks. They were maintaining the social distancing, and my client made sure that everybody was tested before. And hotel also, like we worked in Oberoi, and Oberoi is also very strict with their rules and regulations, and nobody was allowed outside. It was a residential wedding, so everybody was staying there for 3 nights, and it was a safe environment. So it all depends the kind of environment or the kind of people you are with. Maybe Chetan would be able to give a better answer to it, because I have not experienced it.
So Chetan, what do you think?
So I think that hospitality, when it's not done right, comes with a lot of hostility, and guests become very, very irate. Arey, tumne ye kaise bol diya? I've faced this. I've had people who come back and said, "Why are you asking me to wear a mask?" So we did something at a wedding once. We had the COVID police. So we had got these 4 guys who were just walking around telling people to wear masks, and people got irritated. So we said, look, you understand that this is it. So I think, unfortunately, with weddings, you can't show them the danda. You can't show them a scale and say, okay, you need to behave yourself. So airlines and stuff are different. I think we are unfortunately bullied by the whims and fancies of, number one, the guests, and number two, the host is sitting, with his hands folded to say, "Arey, my guests have to be looked after." So we put them as a demigod status, and that becomes a problem. So this is not beyond, this has got nothing to do with hospitality. It's got nothing to do with the event industry, the wedding industry. It's got to do with what kind of a human being are you? Are you respecting the rules? Are you not respecting the rules? So that's about you. You have to understand it's your own health, the health and safety of your own family members. You survive. You will be there tomorrow. You're being foolish. You will unfortunately perish, and then there's going to be no tomorrow. There's going to be no more, no more live streaming of things like that, because you're not around. So I think it's to do with people. I don't think we have an answer. We've tried everything we could have. Now it's literally with folded hands, and I mean, it's we had it, we lost it, and we've got to re-find it. That's the only thing.
Well, I think hope is all that we have, and we can just look forward to a bright future. What are your closing remarks for the session? What do you think our audience should take away from this session in one sentence? Gunjan, would you like to say something?
Okay. I think just hang in there. Things will improve, and hopefully we will be back with the new season and new. That's it.
Hope, yes, that is the word. Chetan, what would you like?
I would say respect the fact, respect protocol, respect the COVID policies that hotels or event planners or wedding planners put out. It's for everybody's, for your good. So respect that, and also respect the virus. Let's give it that little due, because if you don't respect it and it does get angry on you, it can create a lot of problems. So I think respect is a very important word in my dictionary at this point of time, that we all have to respect everything that's going around us.
Well, yes, we all need to be careful. We all need to follow social distancing. Do we have Ishendra or Prerana with us? I think we both have left the session. However, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this gave you a lot of clarity on how the wedding industry is suffering, and we need to all be together but socially distanced. And with hope, I'd like to thank you all for being a part of this session. Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you, Chetan. And Ishendra and Prerana, if you're around, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.